What's going on, everyone, and welcome to Movie Emporium's movie review of Uncle Frank, the newest film from director Alan Ball. Before we begin, hey, if you like my channel, awesome, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium, hit that notification bell at the top to find what's coming next. If you like any of the videos, awesome, hit that like button and comment below on any video that you watch, including this one. So the story of Uncle Frank is, well, the story of Frank, who is played by Paul Bettany, and Frank is a gay man in this movie, and because his father, who was a homophobic individual, who was played by Stephen Root in this movie, finds out that he's gay, he actually flees to New York to become a professor to get away from his family, who's a very Southern essence family. And this is where you meet a character named Wally, who's played by Peter Macdissi. And Wally is a Saudi Arabian individual who has pretty much the same issues that Frank has, but a much more serious. He's had to flee from his home country, and they've been together for 10 years when this movie kind of gets in its full gear. And then we have another character who is his niece, who's played by Sophia Lillis, who plays Beth. And like her Uncle Frank, she is different. She is a woman that doesn't feel at home with her family, but just doesn't know her place in the world. That's why she's so close to her Uncle Frank, because he is of a different mindset, because he's more open, or at least he tries to be. But the problem is, because of his father, because of her grandfather, his father, and because of the Southern nature of the family life, he is basically considered himself a closeted gay man, even though he's out in the open. And so this journey of this story is, unfortunately, the patriarch, the Stephen Root character, dies, so he has to go back to the funeral and kind of face the inevitable conclusion of will they or won't they accept him as a gay man. And of course, this movie has a stacked cast because it's Alan Ball. He's known for doing like 6 Feet Under and American Beauty. And it has everybody from, of course, Paul Bettany, Peter Macdissi, Sophia Lillis, Judy Greer, Stephen Root, Margo Martindale, Steve Zahn, who I really like as an actor. It's just a very big cast. And so I got kind of excited for this movie. I like, these movies that try to portray subjects that are very considered taboo in a lot of cultures. It's really kind of a depressing thing if you think about it. And I've been hearing good things about this, especially from the Paul Bettany performance. And I've been hearing this is a pretty decent movie that, it really kind of represents the whole. I heard this is a little bit of, it's close to some similarities to Alan Ball's life. So I bought my ticket for the AFI Fest. I went and watched this movie on, because it's a virtual screening. And I'm going to be fairly honest with you. I was disappointed in this movie. I really was. Not in the fact of what Alan Ball is trying to do, but because this movie's tropes have been done a billion times before. This movie is very mechanical in its nature. It feels like a movie that's very pushing you towards a particular type of scenario. And I just didn't feel or connect to any of these characters outside of Paul Bettany. Paul Bettany is so good in this movie that he is in one of those so good but in a very kind of mediocre movie. And that's what this movie truly, unfortunately, is a very mediocre movie. And the reason I say Paul Bettany is so good is because he has very raw emotion. You see the kind of the hardness of his nature, what he's having to deal with, because this is 1973. The culture of the world is not as forgiving or as accepting of gay culture. And it's just a very nuanced performance. I think Sophia Lillis is pretty decent in this, but Paul Bettany just runs all over these characters who are almost similar stereotypes or tropes of Southern individuals. And as much as I like Peter Macdissi in this role of he's just having a lot of fun but trying to be there for his partner, I just feel like it's a character that misses the mark and feels kind of one note in a lot of ways. He's a character that comes from Saudi Arabia that seems to not understand the whole dynamic of a family in the South, who not necessarily can accept the idea of this culture of being gay. And it just feels so manipulative that when it becomes the tearjerker moments, you see it coming from a mile away. There are flashbacks in this movie that just feel so ham-fisted and so ham-handed. Just the fact that, this character just can't... You can tell that the females in this movie, especially his sisters and his sister-in-law and, his mother and Lois Smith, who plays his grandmother, is a little different, know who he is and what he is. And you can tell it through the entire story. But when you see characters like that, you know they're going to be accepting. When you see the male characters, you know they're going to be a little bit different. Steve Zahn's he's kind of an abusive husband in this movie. It's really kind of disturbing to see, and some reason Judy Greer just can't accept that. It's like a plot point that just kind of gets pushed over to the side without even thinking about it. But it's just it's such a manipulative movie. It tries to pull at your heartstrings, but it feels so haphazardly done, and it just for 95 minutes I'm like really. I mean, I like, Sophia Lillis, like I said, in this movie. I think she, as a coming of age type story for her and her experiences of trying to learn who her uncle is, I think works and is fine. But, she gets manipulated in a lot of ways, and she is treated like dirt with a lot of men in this movie, and it's just like I stopped caring. I really did. I was so angry and just kind of despondent and disappointed by this eventual conclusion of this movie, which is exactly where you're going, where it's going to go. It's an unfortunate disappointment of a movie. It really is. And like I said, I don't fault people wanting to be in this movie. I don't fault Alan Ball for directing a movie like this. I just feel like that Alan Ball, with his creation of 6 Feet Under and American Beauty, I think he's more talented than some of his movies show. And it's just not a very good movie. It really isn't. Luckily, Paul Bettany's so good in it that it kind of rises a little bit above the cream of the crop. But with that said, I can't go with it. Now, with that said, other people might enjoy this. I know some people really love this movie. But yeah, I didn't like it. So that's unfortunate. But that's going to do it. That's going to be my take on this movie, Uncle Frank. I wish I liked it a little bit better than I did. But let me know in the comments below if you have any interest in seeing this movie. I think it shows up on Amazon Prime on November 25th. But if it doesn't, it'll be in theaters and eventually on Amazon Prime because it's an Amazon Prime movie. But otherwise, if you like my channel, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium. Hit the notification bell at the top to find out what's coming next. Hey, if you like any of these videos, awesome. Hit that like button. And that's it. We'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out.